rame cheki pe la long che chin sadan lam ge yende rab dorje change kopa nyur tobe sho Pakyuke kudan dagi olu pakyuke sundan dagi nga pakyuke tukdan dagi yi tenyerme chiktu chingi olu makyuke kudan dagi Ma kyuke sundan dagi nga Ma kyuke tukdan dagi yi Tenyerme chiktu chingi lo Om Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Sangye chedan tsoge chonam la chancho pardo dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gibe sonam ki drola pinchir drupar shu Sangye chedan tsoge chonam la chancho pardo dani dagi chishe gibe sonam ki drola pinchira sangye drupar shu sangye chedan tsogi chonam la chancho pardo dani dagi chishe gibe sonam ki drola pinchira sangye drupar shu nel Buddha, nel Dharma e nel Sangha prendo rifugio fino all'illuminazione. Con la pratica della generosità e delle altre perfezioni possa io ottenere lo stato di Buddha per il beneficio di tutti gli esseri senzienti. Namo yalhaye kedan ludan jinke rubundandami kenamda ruwa kungi ranama chitsa pa tamche kedo dagi chötento tamche kedo dagi chötento. Buongiorno.
Good morning. Let's imagine that we are in a place, a city, any place where we live. This place
non è che ci troviamo molto bene.
isn't a place that we like particularly. There are good things and other things and other factors which don't suit us, like pollution and much more. To get out of this unhealthy place, few things are necessary. First of all, to get out from this place or go somewhere else is either the wish to get out or the wish to go somewhere else. Otherwise, I will stay where I am. Even if I wish to get out, I will be able to do it only when I have a clear direction that I want to follow. If I'm in this place, but at the same time, I can't recognize the problems that are there, everything that doesn't work out, and I don't generate that kind of aversion towards that place, I won't be able to find an alternative. So I do see what is not good, but I still stay there. In life, often we recognize what is not good, conflicts or situations which are not working out, but we say, okay, it's like that. And in this, it's like that. We kind of surrender, we give up to conflict and other unpleasant situations. We don't allow ourselves even to dream of another alternative. And to me, personally, it was one of the peculiar qualities of Buddha. Buddha was born in a very rich family with lots of power. His father was a king. In history, he wasn't really a king, but the leader of a warrior clan. But anyway, he was in a very wealthy family with lots of power. So in this process, his father did everything he could to let the Buddha feel good. Any wish, any desire was fulfilled. There's a version of the Buddha's history. When he was 15, his father gifted him a harem. So he built a palace where to spend winter, another one to spend summer at. His father would replace flowers so that he would only see blossomed ones, fresh ones. So in this path, Buddha has that curiosity to get out of that kind of golden prison. So he managed to get out. Once he saw a very sick person, once met a very old and suffering person, and another time he met a dying person. So after these 3 encounters, this golden palace, will I have to face this kind of sufferings or not? You are the king, my father, the richest man I know. Will you have to face the same challenges? Will you get sick? Will you get old and die or not? And his father said yes. Actually, yes, no one can escape this. And Buddha said, no, I won't give up. I won't surrender to that. And here the fourth encounter happened. Buddha got out of the palace, he met a man who abandoned the mundane life, this lifestyle, constantly seeking balance, still maintaining the same dynamics and projecting happiness in something which cannot sustain it. So this man was looking for an alternative way. So Buddha thought there must be a solution. So he did not give up to the fact that we need to suffer. And this means we can allow ourselves to imagine, to dream where we want to go. For us, this is essential. We tend to stay trapped in a place, like to be in a prison, from which, if you want to get out, which is of course difficult, the first step is to recognize that we are locked up in a prison and we don't want to be there. Second step, together with the first one, is to recognize that outside the prison there is a better life. If I believe that outside the prison life will be worse, I won't be pushed to get out of it. But if I recognize that I'm outside of the prison and outside, that I'm in a prison and outside I can feel better, then I can start dreaming, wishing to get out. So when this will is so strong and profound, then I will seek the how to get out of it. I will make a plan to escape the prison. There's a famous movie, The Wings of Freedom, where there's a process of escaping prison, and slowly, little by little, day by day, he digs a tiny bit, spending years in this process. But the strength is the will not to stay there and the wish to be somewhere else, and to trust that this process will work. So let's look at the situation and recognize what is not working. When someone is sick, first step is to have a correct diagnosis. Actually, before that is to realize that we're sick, to recognize we're sick. Have you ever experienced to be sick and not be accepting it? I'm sick, but I still think, no, I'm fine, everything is good. If I don't accept that I'm sick, I won't be seeking a diagnosis. So first step is to see the shadow. I recall some time ago with some friends talking. We opened a topic which regards certain situations we experience. Some I experienced myself, some were shared experiences. We talked about the light, but also we talked about the darkness, the shadow. And it was good to see the shadow without taking the light away. When I recognize the shadow, that allows me to bring light in. This is what I want to change. This is the direction I want to follow. When we don't see the shadow, we kind of stay trapped in a loop, repeating the same things. It's like being in the prison and not aware that we are locked up. I was born there. There are some problems, some things I don't like, but there are also, once in a while, the good meal, the Thursday pasta. I made some friends. So I somehow create a comfort zone, even there. And sometimes we leave unhealthy dynamics and create a comfort zone in these dynamics. And sometimes just a simple idea of getting out of that seems even bigger than the problem itself. It is true I have some symptoms, but the idea of going through a treatment is more difficult than living with these symptoms. So I won't even label myself as sick.
A un certo punto, però,
At a certain point, there's an important step. Let's imagine a map. What is the function of the map? When we think of a map, what do you think? It shows us a path. No, that's not the point. The map has a function way more important than this, showing us opportunities and other places that exist. So only the place where I live exists, but there are other possibilities. And in the moment I check the map and I pinpoint another place and I study about it, I check pictures and study more about that and think and generate the thought, how beautiful, I want to go there, and I fall in love, then I will look for possible ways to reach it. Is it possible? Walking, by car, flying? I'll explore ways to get there. And if I see there's a possible way to get there, then I'll get set to start off. So it is important for us to see the shadow, recognize sickness or conflict or the unhealthy dynamic, but also this is just a first step. It can't be the arrival point, the destination. Sometimes we think it's enough. We recognize something that is not working and we just stuck there pointing the finger. Like if opposing to it was enough. What an ugly prison. And we keep complaining about the ugly place we're in and we stay there. So we need to recognize what is not working, but the energy has to be put towards light, towards a solution. But I need to see it and believe in it. So I need to believe in the destination and in my capacity to reach it, but also in the path that leads me there. At the same time, once we've recognized that we got sick, or there is an unhealthy situation, or we are somewhere we don't want to stay in, and we think, we believe we can get out of it, it is important to have a correct diagnosis. Otherwise, we risk to put a lot of energy to heal an illness, and we're not seeking the right healing. It's like getting somewhere and the place is closed or setting off to a different direction. So after all, each of us, despite who we are and so on, we want the same time. We talked about this so many times. We have this deep wish, desire not to suffer and to feel good, which after all is the same thing. But when we talk about the suffering, when we ask ourselves what do we want to avoid in our life, what we don't want at all, mainly is the physical and mental suffering. We project everything on avoiding the physical and the mental suffering, the two main aspects. This is like saying, I want to avoid the symptom, but not the illness and the causes of it, of the sickness. So if I want to avoid the symptoms, but not the status of unbalance and sickness, then the symptoms will come back. So having a correct diagnosis is very important. So the map shows us where we are, helps us to have a correct diagnosis about where we are, and offers the opportunity to understand where we can go, and shows also the path. This map in our environment, in our setting, is called the Dharma. The Buddha's teachings talk exactly about this. So sometimes we get closer to Buddhism, we like it, we generate an identity of being a Buddhist, but we're stuck in this identity, like if feeling a Buddhist was enough, and there's no clarity of where we are and where we want to go. When we take Buddha's teachings, who arrived us from Atisha, Lama Tsongkhapa, and the other masters through Lama Rinpoche to us, they gave us a precise, specific path which step by step shows what we can do. But sometimes I notice that we don't undertake this path completely because, one, we're not convinced that we need to get out of our situation, and two, we're not convinced of where we want to go. So even if we're facing this path proposed by the Dharma, we'd say, yeah, nice, but if it's like someone gave us a map to get out of prison, there's a tunnel, and then follow this way and that way, and we don't study it, we don't memorize it, because we don't profoundly, deeply feel the need to get out of prison. Yeah, it would be lovely to go there, but I wonder if it really exists. In the meantime, let's try to solve our small problems. In other cases, we say, yeah, I'm in the prison, I want to get out, I want to go there. But at the moment, I don't really have time because I'm too busy to put effort into it because I have a conflict with my inmate. And tomorrow I need to cook, and the day after I have that lesson and I have to do that. I have no time to get out of the prison. There are too many things happening. It would be lovely, but I can't manage it. So this is a situation where we often find ourselves. And as I said before, sometimes we are in that situation. We do have a map, but we don't really what is it about, and we are trapped in our daily routine in life. There's a question, but I can't hear it.
Sì. Arriviamo.
So we'll get to that question. Question is, how much does karma influence in our choices? Before that, we will finish this part.
Karma è azione.
Karma is action.
La base dell'azione
The base of action is the inspiration, the intention, the wish. So, first of all, it is important for us to open our eyes and recognize the shadow without being trapped by it, and see the light, see the prison, and see the place of freedom. I want to get to this destination. The prison or the shadow, we can call it in many ways. I use somehow, in some other situations, I called it the seesaw. This is a state where our mind and body are polluted. Our being is polluted by mental poisons and karma. This is it. What does this mean? It means that until I'm taken, carried away by ignorance, so a way, an incoherent way to interact with reality, I react with the obsession to self-cherishing. I'm the most important thing in the world. I react with anger, with fear, sadness, hate, satisfaction, attachment, and so on. On the other side, I bring with myself the inertia and the strength of all the actions that I've done before, the so-called karma. So we are trapped in this. Being in this reality, we will always suffer. Inevitably, we will suffer. So let's use another analogy. I have health issues. But within these, I have some very deep habits of an unhealthy lifestyle, which of course generate these kind of problems. I eat unwell, I'm always stressed, tense, I don't exercise, and so on. I continue to repeat these dynamics which generate sickness. How do I heal from that illness? Illness is the samsara, so-called samsara. The suffering of the mind and body that are polluted. So the power of the actions done before, all the choices, everything we have done before, which condition us and what we live nowadays, together with our emotional states.
Per rispondere alla domanda,
to answer this question, karma, in other words, the choices we have done, our karma, the actions we have done in our past, are all those interactions which slowly brought us to today. The others, karma, are the actions and the other interactions and so on. What do they have to do with me, with myself? The other people's karma and the actions. Karma isn't destined. Karma is action. So all these actions accumulated over time, like if, for example, today I am influenced by the choices done during my teenage years. There are actions and choices and emotions which still influence us. This is an example of karma. I've done something and I still live nowadays the inertia of these actions and choices. So the other people's karma act on us as conditions. So whatever the others experience and live, whatever they do, which is the result of their actions on themselves, interact with myself, but I do not experience the other's karma. But the other's karma works as condition
con la quale io vado a interagire. Non so se è chiaro questo.
that I interact with.
Per dire, se io non ho creato le cause non posso avere.
If I haven't created causes, I cannot experience the results. But on the other side, even if I have causes but I don't have conditions, these results won't be able to manifest. But this is a wider
Però il punto
matter.
principale che voglio arrivare
But the main
è
point is
noi siamo in questa situazione.
we are in this situation where
Abbiamo dei condizionamenti molto profondi
we have strong conditioning, strong conditions
a tanti livelli,
which manifest on several levels:
di ignoranza, di
ignorance, attachment, fear,
eccetera, eccetera.
and so on.
E siamo
This is the
condizionati
shadow.
dalle nostre
And we are conditioned by past actions and the environment, the context we're in, which is other people's karma.
quanta
So
libertà.
this leads us to a question: how much freedom do I have?
E qua c'è un punto fondamentale. Ho tantissima libertà,
I have a lot of freedom,
che è molto molto piccola, però è tanta.
which is very, very small, but at the same time is a lot.
Ogni momento che
Because
noi abbiamo,
every
questo non lo voglio
moment I live,
non voglio che noi ascoltiamo questo da un punto di vista molto concettuale.
so please don't listen to it in a very conceptual way. Let's try to absorb it in your reality. Because we need to observe ourselves. There's nothing we can do
Fisicamente,
physically,
verbalmente,
verbally,
mentalmente,
or even mentally,
che non vada
which
a interagire con
doesn't
noi,
interact with ourselves and the others, and doesn't create a process of transformation.
e noi siamo fatti di abitudini.
We are made of habits.
All'interno della nostra
Within our life, we have
abbiamo una
tiny choices. We have a small freedom, but we do have it.
come abbiamo detto altre volte, abbiamo la libertà di dire o non dire,
We are free to say or not to say,
andare o non andare, fare o non
go
fare.
or not go,
Ho un
do
sentimento,
or not
reagisco o non
do,
reagisco, alcune volte abbiamo la libertà,
react
no.
or not.
Però c'è un livello di libertà.
There is a certain degree of freedom we can apply.
Io non ho la libertà di dire no, io la rabbia non la voglio più avere, non ce l'ho più.
I'm not free to say I don't want to have anger and I just delete it.
Sento
But I'm free to say I feel anger,
libertà di
and I'm free not to manifest it completely. I don't follow it. There's something I won't say. I will say something else.
abbiamo tante scelte che si muovono
There are
davanti. La nostra vita è
many choices. Our life is made of choices.
mi ricordo il numero preciso, però una
I,
volta
I can't remember the exact number, but once I heard this sentence that Rohir says, every day
di qualcosa come 30.000,
we have about 30,000 choices according to some studies.
circa 30.000
30,000 choices we make every day. On average, I can eat, not eat, what I take, how I dress up, what I say,
costantemente.
all the time.
E c'è un altro aspetto che ogni
There's another aspect.
scelta
Every time we need to make a choice and we are in doubt, this generates tension.
credo che tutti noi abbiamo sperimentato.
All of us have experienced that feeling of having to choose something, and until we make that choice, there's a lot of tension. Once we've done the choice, we've taken a decision, then the tension is released.
E sono in questo
Our life is made of choice, and these tiny daily choices are our freedom.
e qui c'è un punto fondamentale. Almeno personalmente
At least personally, for me, this really made a huge difference.
noi siamo esseri
We're static beings
siamo esseri che siamo in costante
or
trasformazione.
beings in constant transformation. What do you think?
Il nostro stato psicofisico
Our psychophysical state is like that, and that's it? or we are in constant transformation, continuous transformation.
Siamo sicuri?
Are we sure about it?
Certo
Are you sure?
che siamo in costante trasformazione.
We are in continuous transformation.
Che non basta che venga dalla testa.
This is not enough if it comes from your head.
Se io sono in costante trasformazione,
If I'm constantly transforming, which isn't necessarily a good news, it depends on how I transform myself.
vuol dire che esiste una possibilità.
But it means there's an opportunity, a possibility.
Io ho visto in me stesso
I've seen in myself and other people
che con fatica,
that,
con costanza,
of course, it is challenging, but with constancy, we can make positive changes. We can diminish our anger or jealousy and increase concentration and satisfaction, isn't it?
è possibile cambiare delle abitudini.
It is possible to change unhealthy habits and cultivate healthy ones.
Qual è il limite di tutto?
What is the limit of all of this?
Il limite di eliminare la rabbia è non averla più.
The limit of eliminating anger is not to have it anymore. Opening our heart, the limit is to be able to love unconditionally.
E dal momento nel quale la malattia vera
And when the real sickness which we saw at the beginning is the body and mind polluted by the karma,
dei veleni mentali, il karma
and it's interesting to see that when we take away the mental poisons, then the karma won't sustain itself.
è possibile
So this is where we need to work on.
gradualmente le
So
nostre
it is possible by changing gradually our habit also to change our state and heal.
prendere la mappa.
But we need to take the map that was given to us and think that we can achieve that destination. What are my next steps? Where am I today?
Se noi veramente non
If we
vedere e non abbiamo
don't truly
fare e non crediamo
see and understand where we want to go and the steps we need to take, we can be trapped in this daily life with these tiny problems, and we lose the perspective of this path towards healing.
non so se è chiaro.
Is it clear?
Quindi vediamo brevemente questo.
So let's briefly see this.
Ci troviamo in uno stato
We are in a
il corpo e la mente inquinati. Dal
state where the body and the mind are polluted by karma and mental defilements. We want to get to the opposite, where we are not polluted, in a place.
le parole che ho trovato una volta è stato io voglio
Words I
arrivare a un
heard
mondo
once
dove
are, I want to get to a place where I feel good, in harmony with myself and the others,
indipendentemente di dove sono,
independently from where we are, who I'm with, and the situation I'm in.
permettermi
I don't want to allow myself to be conditioned by situations I find myself in.
perché tanto problemi ci sono
There are problems,
e ci saranno sempre.
and there will always be.
Riuscite a immaginare un
Can you imagine a day without problems?
giorno in cui andrà tutto?
A day where everything goes smoothly? I can't.
E secondo me è stata la prima realizzazione
And I think this was the first realization I had arriving in Albagnano.
arrivato ad Albagnano.
I didn't even arrive. I was driving along the lake at night. It was rainy. It was the first time I got here.
E mi è venuto
And while I was there, I had this special moment
usiamo
of,
il termine sbagliato di illuminazione.
of, let's say, enlightenment. And there, I thought I understood.
Problemi esistono,
Problems exist
ci sono e ci saranno sempre.
and will always
Quello mi ha dato una
do.
botta di gioia.
And this gave me huge joy.
Perché che cosa vuol dire che problemi
What does it mean that problems exist and will always exist? I can't base my life on solving problems. So I can abandon this
falsa che una volta che tutti i problemi
idea of that once problems will be solved, I'll be fine.
risolve uno
Because when you solve one problem, there's another one arising.
e purtroppo quando c'è l'eccezione
And unfortunately, when there's an exception,
lo andiamo a creare noi.
when no problem arises, then we do create it.
Perciò il punto non è risolvere i problemi.
Point isn't solving problems. The point is generating qualities that allow us to live well certain situations, difficult situations. So it doesn't matter who I'm with, the situation. I should be able to be in harmony, in peace with myself and others. So to do this, first of all, we need to use the strength, the power of familiarization. And it's like Olympic training. There's this concept, I can't remember the name, when there's high-level training. If I'm training, for example, running, today I can do 10 kilometers in X time. Gradually, every day, I need to repeat those 10 kilometers, but faster and faster. So every day I continue, and slowly, little by little, I increase speed, or I can run more kilometers. If today I stop, if I skip one day, so yesterday I was at 20 minutes. Tomorrow I should do 19 kilometers. But if today I'm at 20 minutes and tomorrow I should do 19 minutes, but tomorrow I don't train, the day after tomorrow, how many minutes do you think? Will I get at 19 minutes, or I'm stuck at 20? I will get to 21 minutes. Every time I stop is like stepping backwards. So, for example, when during COVID Olympics were postponed by 1 year, those who had to train, because they had Olympic athletes had to stay at that level. I don't think the medal is the point here, but what happens is that they needed to keep up with these results, otherwise they would go backwards. And same is with the mind. We need to keep conscience with habits until this habit gets really profound, and then we can relax because it gets spontaneous. So at the basis is the power of transformation and familiarization, which requires a particular strength, which is constance. What is pushing us in this? Awareness of the preciousness of this opportunity we have, together with the awareness that we will soon die, and we don't know how long this opportunity will last. So there's a huge window of opportunity, and what do? I just wait, because I need to see the end of the Netflix series, because I need to talk about this, I need to solve this problem, today I'm not feeling well, and so on. Of course not. I need to continue. I can't lose any opportunity. What helps us is the awareness that opportunities we have won't last forever. The deep awareness that this is not a joke, we will soon die. Even if we have a long life, it will pass by quickly. And if we can't catch the opportunities, they may not repeat. They will not come up again. So without anxiety, but with a sense of urgency. in saying I can't be here wasting my time. Of course, I can relax, enjoy, but I do have a direction which I cannot lose. And the direction is to walk against the current. By current, I mean the habits we want to eliminate. We don't have any more time for jealousy, envy. We will soon die and we're still wasting our time with these kind of emotions because someone said and that time you don't know what happened during my childhood and my parents and so on. This is a sentence I hear very often. I was lucky, which doesn't mean my family was perfect, but I have wonderful parents. But beyond what happened, today, what direction do I walk towards? And I don't have time to waste. We need to feel this. No more time to be wasted in repeating dynamics which don't lead us anywhere. We've seen that, been that, done that. That's enough. I want to walk towards the person I want to become. Is it difficult? Of course, a lot, very difficult. Because going against our habits is very challenging. And the map offered to us is like micro voices. These are like cities we have to go through to get to the final destination. But the base is the awareness of the opportunity we have together with the awareness of the fact that we are the urgency. So the first city we have to go through is loving ourselves. So-called, in other words, learning, transforming into a healthy, selfish person. Very important is to remember that when we take the map and we see the destination, there's another point we need to figure out in the map. Where am I at the moment? If I see the destination but can't understand where I'm located, then I won't be able to understand the path. So I need to start from where I am. And this is a city called selfishness. Ignorant selfishness. And I want to get to the city called enlightenment. But I need to start from that place. So the first step, starting from a situation where there's obsession to self-cherishing, we should ask ourselves what is really benefiting and what is really harming me. First step is to transcending what I want, what I don't want, what I like, and go towards what is benefiting me and what is not benefiting me. What is more important, what I like or what is good for me? Is it important to avoid what I don't like or what is harming me? So this is the first step, which means loving ourselves. Not only towards what is outside, but also towards our physical, verbal, mental conduct. Being able to say whatever is benefiting me has to be cultivated, whatever is harming me has to be abandoned. And on this path will lead us to the next city, where we see, as I'm becoming a healthy, selfish person, The other city will be a mature selfish, which will be altruism. Selfishly speaking, it is better to be altruistic. If you can expand that feeling and attachment towards happiness, you will be able to see that the other's happiness is as important as mine. In other words, it's bodhicitta. So when you get there, to get to the next city, you will ask yourself, how do I follow? How do I get to that point of feeling good? And I have already developed this wish also for others to be well, to be happy. It's like starting from a small bicycle and then finally having a very powerful car. So this is not only the wish for my happiness, but also for the other's happiness. So this gives a lot of power. So what do I need to do? I need to get to the root, which is ignorance, and develop a coherent view of reality. So this path, of course it's clear, it has clear steps. But when we see the map, we need to understand what the steps are and then go back where we are starting from. It's like a GPS, where you're living from and where you are going to. But then it goes back from the beginning and it says go ahead and then turn right in 50 meters. So before getting to the highway and so on. So I invite you to look and ask yourself, what do I want? Besides solving problems, enjoying pleasures, and everything connected to our daily life, which are part of life, but when we get to the end of this life, what do we want to have achieved? So be able to have a path, a life path, which goes beyond what I do and don't do. If it's clear, if this is clear, this allows us to live a more meaningful life. But it is important to go through the map, understand where we are, where we want to get to, and the steps necessary to get to the destination. My very next steps. Otherwise, we get trapped in the map, dreaming about our destination. It's like saying, I want to become altruistic, but I forget that I first have to become a healthy, selfish person. I won't be able to love the others if I firstly don't love myself. So, in other words, briefly, in a nutshell, we have this huge fortune that Buddha Shakyamuni, after not giving up to suffering, did find a possible place, a path, and shared all of this with us. And this was transmitted in an uninterrupted way to us today. We need to take care of it. We need to walk. And the good news is, one of the most difficult things, we already have it. We do have the map. We see that it is possible to do it. Seeing how we live today, that we want everything done by yesterday, we understand this is not the case. We can't outsource. We can't delegate our path to someone else. We would like to do it, of course. I go to my master, to my guru, and I say, I have deep faith in you, please do it for me.
È come se dice portami con te.
Bring me with you. And the other person will say, yeah, but you have to walk. No, please, bring me with you. I'm ready. And the master will say, you have to walk.
Nessuno ci può portare.
No one can carry us. They can hold our hands and show us the path, but we have to walk with our own legs. We can do that. We are doing it. This is the good news. So I also invite you to do the following. We are living special times, environmental problems, wars, big social changes.
Dobbiamo stare attenti a non
So be careful not to allow that all of this
ossia
separates you from your path. So our own energy, intention and attention needs to be on cultivating love, respect, gratitude, humbleness, generosity, awareness, wisdom. This is the most important thing. So this path is briefly summed up in the 6 perfections. We do have a clear direction for our path. We need to make sure that in our daily life we are walking in that direction. And don't leave the map hanging on the wall like something unrealized. But we need to walk along it and work on it every day. Yeah? So we will do our dedications.
questa mappa
This map is called Lamrim in Tibetan.
che poi diventa questo nome famoso perché gli insegnamenti dell'Amrin che sono
This famous name, the teachings of Lamrim. But after all, it is a map, the path which Atisha then Lama Tsongkhapa put it in bullet points, in clear steps, one after the other one, which I summed up for you. But there are precise, clear steps to be followed, and it's something we do have. So we have to walk, we have to keep it in our hands, and it's a beautiful thing we can do. Sometimes we feel lost, we are in prison without being aware of being imprisoned. Sometimes we don't have a clue where to start from. I don't mean the only way is Buddhism, but this is a valid way.
Lame kutse rapten chi namkar chinle chokchur gepada losan tempe drume sasumgi drove munsel taktu ne gyur chi kewa kuntu yanda lama dang drame chiki pela longche chi sadan lamgi yente rapzo ne dorje changi kopa nyurtob sho nimo dele tsendele nime kuyan delek shi ninsen taktu delek pe kuncho sumki chingi loba kuncho sumki ngodrubutsol kuncho sumki trashi sho all'alba o al tramonto, di notte o durante il giorno, possano i 3 gioielli concederci le loro benedizioni, possano aiutarci ad ottenere tutte le realizzazioni e cospargere il sentiero della nostra vita con molti segni di buon auspicio. Buona giornata a tutti.
Have a wonderful day.